is fine when a girl does it, but an ick when a guy does it.
Baby talk for sure. That's a bit, that's an ick for guys. And I would also say it's always okay for a girl to like kind of be bi, but if a man does it,
it's like how why so?
Well, I feel like double standards exist for all of us, right? But women have an ability to have more freedom to explore their sexuality, I believe.
Oh, okay, that's true. That's a good one. Okay, I wanted to ask you specifically.
Please just went in real quick. So I did a short on this, and somebody in the comment section, I forget who it was, they was like, bro, you need to make a full video on this. So you'll see in the clip in the beginning, Jessica White, she's a model or actress. I'm not really familiar with her, but she said that, she talked about some double standards, and she said that it is, it's okay for women to be bisexual, but not guys, right? And you got to remember going back to when, Eazy-E went through what he went through with the last houses in Virginia, right then and there, imagine what he went through. Those diseases was considered a homosexual male disease. So once you start kind of digging into the history, it's only believed that people believe that you only can get it from being, a homosexual male, right? That's what they believe the disease to be. So at the end of the day, that's once and for all. That's a major reason why the double standard holds a lot of weight, right? But you got to remember too, women can pass on STDs too, right? But the whole thing about it is men accept that, men shouldn't be in the closet, but also he pretty much wanted me to point out that it's not okay for women to be in the closet because women will sleep with their homegirl. And I say this all the time, and their homegirl will have some vendetta against you, and you thinking it's something that your girl told her. No, y'all sharing this bitch. That happens more times than you know. You done helped the homegirl out. You done, she needed some help. You ain't never been mean. You like, damn, a lot of times these women be secretly carpet munching. And once they go to carpet munching, you know what I'm saying? And they like carpet munching like that, it ain't really no coming back from it. Respectfully, it ain't no coming back from carpet munching. They mentally are ill. They mentally is insane. Once they make that transition, whether they the femme or they the stud, though, you don't go there. You have fun there if you want to. You don't go there because think about it in this reality of it. You clap her up and then she get mad at you like most women do. And now your son growing up with two mothers. Do you want your son to grow up with two mothers? And most of them are off. A lot of these women that be fighting each other, a lot of times they didn't slept with each other. So it's a lot of sexual emotion tied. So they try to, veil it like it's okay for women to explore their sexual self. And it's okay to go back from strictly dickly to back to carpet. They act like it's okay. But mentally, when I tell y'all these women go through so much trauma mentally that they don't heal, they can't recover from that trauma. This is part of that trauma. A lot of lesbian couples, they are very, very violent. They are very belligerent. They're very, it's not a stable home. It's a high emotional home. There's money problems being there. There's high infidelity being there. You know what I'm saying? Like all negative things. But back to the premise of it is because there's belief that two men pass on that disease and two women don't. So right then and there, the dudes are in the hole as far as that. But realistically, looking at everything as how it's laid out, you have to understand they go through a mental trauma and they get out from dealing with a woman, probably a physically abusive relationship, a roller coaster of up and down relationships, and they go to a guy and they destroy his life because that's what they used to: abuse, drama, fighting. Women just are cowards and they not meant to be brave. They will go from the next situation to the next situation to wherever they can find comfort at, wherever they can find even this temporary a refuge at. That's where they're going to go. Okay, that's what you have to understand. That's where they're going to go. Hate to say that to the, that's just their nature. They not meant to be brave. They can be brave in moments, but they're not meant to be brave. Okay. So this is why when you be dealing with women and they don't be satisfied. You could talk about, they've been with a lot of bodies. They've been with a lot of girls too. A lot of girls be with a lot of girls. I'm telling y'all, you can't conquer that hill. In your mind, it sound cool. You and your girl go to the strip club, and that's pookie behavior. You and your girl, clap other girls' cheeks together. In your mind, that sound good until you have children, and children know what's going on. No matter how much I hide it, they know what's going on. And your daughter grow up like that. Your son grew up like that with women like that. And that's the problem that we in. A lot of these women are hiding their sexual history, right? They done seen too many dildos. They done seen too many, Tyrone sticks. And they can't make a decision. Because you got to remember, most women in America today, especially black women, sex comes first. If the sex isn't good enough, sex hold them in place forever more than money ever could. Right? So you worried about, I can't satisfy her, or, a spark is missing. And a lot of times the spark be another woman. They want to be sexually liberated. These women have done everything, bro. Sleepovers, they've been getting carpet munched on. Other female predators that have been preying on these women. These women have been through so much stuff, emotionally, physically. You can't save most women. And a lot of women put themselves in a position to be in these positions. I done heard women, these girls, get the girl to come over and they turn her out. They drug her up, turn her out. It was a girl I just did a short on. She said that her homegirl and her boyfriend tried to get her drunk and get her into a threesome. And she said no, and they tried to get her to stay and drink. And I worked in high school for a minute. I seen the girl, she had an older boyfriend. And he would send her into school, and I watched her recruit girls to take them back, and they slept with them. And she clapped them out. Spooky behavior. Y'all be wondering why these women are just irrational, emotional, they unstable, they crazy all over the place. They didn't been clapping guys, they didn't been clapping girls, they didn't sold the cheeks. They seen too much. They biologically and mentally they can't do that. They, if you know a girl that been on both sides, bro, relationship or like getting clapped up multiple times, bro, you can't build with that. Have your fun and run. You can't build with that. Ain't no coming back from that. So on the outside, it's like, okay, guys should just stay over there. Social women. A lot of women has destroyed a man's life because they really desire some Virginia. That's what it is. That's what they really want. But when it comes with Virginia, it comes with infidelity. It doesn't come with financial security. They don't really feel protected by they stud Keisha or they stud Becky. You know what I'm saying? It was a girl posting on her story. I'm posting on the screen at the end of this video. And she said, men, no, but DICK, yeah, that's how they think, bruh. That's how they think. But you never really hear, you hear studs complain about film, but two things you never hear from women. From black women, you never hear about how Hector treat them bad. And if you do, they still blaming black men. You never hear about Brad treating them bad. They never got no real smoke for Becky. Never. And you never hear about how violent and how much infidelity and so much financial insecurity. Their finances all fucked up. The only reason women like that go back with guys is for security. And really women miss the real thing. But for the most part, it's for the financial security that a man brings. The protection, the provision, the financial security, the physical protection that a man brings. But they don't want the leadership. And when you got to understand, when you're dealing with two women, ain't no leadership. There's no structure. There's no discipline in that household. There's none. The reason why most women don't like dealing with men, even if a guy cuff her up and she still go back to the streets, women don't like discipline. They feel like it's a constraint. They feel like you putting a straitjacket on them. Even if they know it's for their good, they want to go out there and destroy their lives and then blame men for destroying. They don't want your leadership. They don't want to follow your direction. They don't want to follow your provision. they want your money and they want to fuck your money up and then and take your rest and blame you. And, you get divorced and she still blow the money. Now the kids don't have no money. You don't have no money and the hoe don't have no money. That's what they do. They come to destroy. That is why the matriarchy of the black community is the way it is. It's a bunch of women who don't care nothing about the children. They care nothing about themselves. They don't care nothing about the black men. They don't care nothing about moving us successful. They don't, and this whole thing protecting black men, when the fuck has that happened? They just want to say they're the queen or they run something. I control my community. I run my community. And them shaming men and shaming the good men that lead the community or the good black people who don't celebrate that bullshit they own and don't feel sorry for them. They like to complain and talk shit about black people who do productive things to shame them because they looking at the mirror and they see looking at them be successful and build together. That shines a light on them. They don't want to fix the community. The women that run the black matriarchy community, they don't want to fix it. They're happy with the weak men that's still there. They're happy that the weak men, they procreate. They're happy with the Pookies, the Pookishas. They're happy with the stud Ishas. They're happy there. They don't want to fix it. Let me say it again. They don't want to fix it. The productive black men and women, they're moving on with their lives. They understand that they can't salvage that because the government has empowered the women to run that community. And they don't want you, no matter how much they beg for stepfathers, no matter how much they beg for you to come back and help, they don't want your help because so many dudes have stepped in and helped them. And they turned on them. They put him in jail. They divorced him, took their money. I was watching the video. I've seen this some years ago where the woman, the stepdaddy took care of her whole life and paid her college, bought her a car. And she wanted her real father who did nothing to walk down the aisle for her. And when I'm going to talk about a little bit part 2 about something like that. I think I've done one years ago. And I'm going to talk about that because one thing about stepping into a blended family or stepfather thing about that, the one thing that you find out quick, faster than a hurry is the mama is not the most ungrateful motherfucker there. The child is 10 times more ungrateful than the mother. But hey, hit the link in the description, join the Patreon. Peace.